Greetings everybody, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles. So what I've decided to do for the next bunch of videos is go back in time. We're going to go back to 1983. Yes, we're looking at albums that have turned 40 in 2023, and time just flies. I can't imagine that it's been 40 years since some of these have been released. It seems like just yesterday. So the two bands that we're going to be looking at today, because I'm going to be doing like two each show, very different bands. The one started out in the late 60s, early 70s, and the other one started in the late 70s, early 80s. Very different styles. The one band is still together. The other band, I think they finished up a few years back. Also, lots of lineup changes in both bands. But the first album that's 40 years old we're going to chat about is this one from Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. Now, be warned, this is not an easy listen. This is pretty much a Roger Waters baby. In fact, this would be the final album, him being part of Pink Floyd. It would be a big fallout with David Gilmour, and of course everything that happened after that, court cases and the whole 9 yards. This is about war, essentially, and for many years Roger Waters has always had a thing about his father passing away when he was very young in the Second World War. He died in the Second World War, and it's the futility of war and, you know, the war and the excesses of war and all the rest of it. It started, I think, probably in The Wall, carried on big time with this album. Amused to Death is also about war. And it's been a theme that Roger Waters has had right up until today. You know, he still tours, still does a lot of these tracks. It's a dark album. It's not a happy album. It's a difficult listen for me. I don't reach for this too often when I'm looking for a Pink Floyd. But it has got some merit. There's some great guitar work on here from David Gilmour. The notable absence on this album is Richard Wright. Him and Roger Waters had a big fallout before this. Roger Waters said he wasn't pulling his weight. So they have got other guys on keyboards here, but it's still Nick Mason on drums. I'll get it right. Roger Waters on bass and vocals, David Gilmour on guitar and vocals, and then I'll read out the rest of the guys in the band. There's nothing fancy about this. This has been re-released on a number of occasions, I think. This is not a deluxe edition. This is just your bog standard CD version. There's the soldier with a knife in his back at the back. So I just want to see who else is on here. Performed by Pink Floyd. Roger Waters produced the album, pretty much his lyrics in all the songs. I was trying to see Andy Newmark's on drums on Two Sons, Michael Kamen, piano, harmonium. I think those are the guys on keyboards. Raphael Ravenscroft on tenor sax, the National Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Michael Kamen. So there's just your lyrics. Post-War Dream. Let's get to the tracks. A Requiem for the Post-War Dream by Roger Waters. That's the full title of The Final Cut. So you've got the Post-War Dream, Your Possible Pasts, One of the Few, The Hero's Return, The Gunner's Dream, Paranoid Eyes, Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Desert, the Fletcher Memorial Home, which was a minor hit off this album, I think, Southampton Dock, The Final Cut, Not Now John, and Two Sons in the Sunset. I think Not Now John is probably the most up-tempo track on here, which I really enjoy. Some great guitar work from David Gilmour. I'm just trying to see, I'm pretty sure that this album features Jeff Beck, because I know he has played on Amused to Death, the Roger Waters solo album, and I think he may have played on here as well. I might have that wrong. Just trying to see if it mentions his name anywhere. No, it doesn't. So I must be thinking of Amused to Death. So this was originally released, obviously, in 1983, and this re-release was in 1997. So there's a few photographs inside. You can see there the lyrics. It's nothing fantastic though. I mean, it's pretty standard. There's another photograph. Make of it what you will. Yeah, very dark album. Not a happy one, but then Roger Waters doesn't do happy. There we go. Pink Floyd, the final cut. I really struggle with this. In fact, parts of the wall I struggle with as well. You know, you've got to be in a certain mood to get into that album and listen to it and enjoy it. It's not a party scene, put it that way. But it's worth having if you're a completist like I am and you want to get all the Pink Floyds right from the beginning. Piper at the Gates of Dawn, right up to this, and then obviously the David Gilmour stuff afterwards, Momentary Lapse of Reason, etc., those albums. But this will be the last one to feature Roger Waters. There we go, 40-year-old, the final cut. And the other band we're going to chat about, like I said, very different style. And this was them more or less in the beginnings, although they had a few albums, I think 3 before this, under their belt. But this is my favorite of theirs, Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. That classic cover there of old Eddie in the loony bin. So this one came with special multimedia CD features, full-length videos, exclusive band biographies, photo galleries, internet links, and much more. But I think this has since been released again. You know, they keep on re-releasing the Maiden stuff with ever bigger sort of deluxe editions. But this will do me. This is a really great recording. And the tracks on here, there's not a bum track on here. This was from the first track to the last is really great. Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, another big hit for them. Die With Your Boots On, The Trooper, massive hit. Still Life, Quest for Fire. In fact, some of the deeper tracks on here are as good as the hits, like Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, and To Tame a Land. And then it says here, special multimedia section with your CD, with your PC. You can check out videos and stuff, exclusive photo galleries. And then there's 2 videos that you can check out, The Trooper and Flight of Icarus, that you can check on your PC. So yeah, this was one of the standout metal releases of 1983, or it would go on to be one of the classics. Excuse me, I'm having some early morning coffee here, as is my wont. So this is quite a cool picture disc. There you can see the brain, Peace of Mind, obviously. And there's The Trooper, a song which is still played today live when they play. It's a classic. And there's a great live shot of the guys. There's some really nice photographs inside here, which I'll show you. There's Eddie, the mascot, if you like, going across the stage. And there's a very youthful looking Iron Maiden with Dave Murray on that side. And there's Bruce Dickinson, a very young Nicky McBrain, Steve Harris, and of course Adrian Smith, the other guitarist. Yannick Gers has since joined the band, or he joined them a long time after this, I think. But he's been with them for a few albums. Some great shots of Steve Harris there. Trademark foot on the monitor. There's old Eddie. Very young looking Dave Murray with his Strat. I think he's always played a Strat. There's a great shot of the band there. All looking a little older these days, a little grayer. And there's Bruce Dickinson in full cry. His vocals on this album are amazing, as are the 2 guitarists, Dave Murray and Adrian Smith. You know, they always play off each other so well. And there's some great dual lead guitars in this album. There's Nicky McBrain behind the kit. On holiday, down at the beach. Some nice group shots there. And there's Adrian Smith. Very different style to Dave Murray. Dave Murray's probably the wilder. Dave Murray's like the KK Downing of Judas Priest. That's him for Iron Maiden. There we go, great shot of the crowd. And 83, they were starting to get seriously big, especially in the States. Massive tours. And there they are. I think that photograph was at the back of the original vinyl. There's the brain, Peace of Mind, and there's the guy sitting around the table. And there's Dickinson with a Interesting lady, not wearing too much. Yeah, the stage would start to get bigger and bigger from this album on. The stages would get much bigger, more elaborate, as they got more successful, more money. And there's the champagne flowing. So there we go. Peace of Mind, Iron Maiden. Like I said, not a bad track on here. Play it loud. It's meant to be played loud. It's one of these sort of iconic metal releases of the 80s. The 80s wasn't all bad. It wasn't all just shoulder pads and big hair and neon clothing. There was some really good music. So there we go. The first two of our albums that are 40 years old. And I thought, we'd just mix it up and different styles. So there we go. The first two, Iron Maiden and Pink Floyd. Yeah, hard to think that 40 years has just disappeared like that. In 1983, I think I'd just done my 2-year stint in the army in 1981 and 82. That lovely brown uniform I got to wear for 2 years. So 83 was my first year of freedom of a sort. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please down below, any comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. It'll be great. It's really cold here in Cape Town. I hope it warms up, although they say we're due for rain again. I'm looking forward to spring. I'll catch you soon, guys. Cheers.